I want to thank you for all what you do for me, Dr. Bob. You do so much, and I have this occasion to say it. What you do for me, no one did in my life.
Mainstream media gives you the impression that there is nothing good about America. In direct contrast to that, my podcasts will prove by examples that America has always been and still is the land of opportunity for everyone. Hello, and welcome to another episode in the series Life Lessons with Dr. Bob. My guest today is Katy Ohana, a restaurateur and a close family friend. I first met Katy when I was touring Israel about 30 years ago. I was staying at the King David Hotel in Jerusalem with some friends, and I asked the concierge for a recommendation for dinner. He recommended a small French restaurant called Katy's, within walking distance of the hotel. Well, I went to the restaurant. It was maybe a 10-minute, very pleasant walk up a hill and around some corners. And there I came across this small restaurant with some tables outside. Looked sort of cute, small. Maybe it seats 20 people in total, inside and outside. And went in and looked at the menu. I was greeted at the door, my friends and I, by the proprietor, who's Katy, who you'll hear from tonight, and welcomed into the restaurant with a great smile and question about what I wanted to drink, and here's the menu, any suggestions, and just had a fantastic meal. And in addition to the meal, she came over to every patron to ask them what they liked, could it be any better. Very interested in whether we were satisfied, not just me. She didn't know me. And we talked, and I learned that she started that restaurant in 1974. That's nearly 50 years ago today, when she was 20 years old. At that time, when she started, there were only 2 other restaurants in all of Jerusalem. So just by statistics, she was already in the top 3 in the city. Of course, Jerusalem has grown in 50 years, and it is now an international destination for tourists and high-tech businessmen. And the need for and the number of restaurants has increased dramatically. I just checked online today, and according to TripAdvisor's, Katy's ranks very high. It gets 4.5 stars out of 5 from 859 reviewers and is in the top 10 out of 694 other restaurants. After nearly 50 years in business, what an accomplishment for a small, privately owned bistro. Welcome to the show, Katy.
Good evening, Dr. Bob. I'm very pleased to be here tonight and very impressed. I didn't expect that, but thank you for choosing me tonight.
I think you have a fantastic story to tell about overcoming adversity to achieve the success that you've reached. But before I turn the microphone over to Katy, I want to tell you about her background. Because only by learning about the hardships that she's overcome will you get to appreciate the importance of hard work, determination, and perseverance in becoming successful in life. Here's a bit of Katy's story. She was born 78 years ago in Casablanca, Morocco, to hard-working but very poor parents. But as she's pointed out to me, just about everyone back then in Morocco was poor. Well, poverty wasn't the biggest hardship that she faced. The first, and perhaps the most significant hardship of her entire life, was being abandoned by her father right after birth. He rejected her and left her mother to take care of a baby girl born with visible birth defects. More hardship to come to Katy. Her mother died when she was 7, so she moved in with her mother's parents. But after a year or so, her elderly grandparents couldn't raise her, so they put her in an orphanage for Jewish children, where Katy stayed for 10 years. She recalls those years as being quite happy. Now, between you and me, that if your memories about being an orphan in an orphanage are positive, then just about everything prior to that in your life must have been pretty bad. When she turned 18, she was told that she'd have to leave the orphanage. Well, we all have to leave the nest at some time, but where was she to go? There were not a lot of opportunities for anyone in Casablanca at that time, so her counselor suggested Israel. So in 1964, with meager funds from her part-time work at the orphanage and with the help of various philanthropic organizations, she and her grandparents emigrated to Israel, where she got a job as a nursing assistant at a major hospital in Jerusalem. She held that job for 10 years, and now, for the best parts of the story, I'll turn the microphone over to Katy to tell you what happened next. Now, Katy, you had background in the restaurant business. Tell us the story. What were the circumstances that led you to start a restaurant in Jerusalem?
I never thought of that before, but I had a boyfriend. He was the town architect. And at that time we had a lot of guests. He had a lot of guests from abroad. And I always cooked. And I obviously...
In the apartment, in his apartment, your apartment.
I mean, we were living together.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
After a while.
Yeah.
And I was a cook. And then when he wanted to marry me, he got a cancer, a kidney cancer. And he was given just 1 year to live. And at that time, cancer was not like today. Chemotherapy was very hard. And he had nobody, only me in Israel.
He was from Denmark?
He was from Denmark. Mm-hmm. So I took care of, I was always with him.
You were his nurse?
And the professor said to me, Katy, you can't deal with this. It's too hard for you. You are too young. Let him go back to Copenhagen. I won't do it. I thought it was not fair. Mm-hmm. But when he died, I felt quite a release, quite not happy. I can't say happy, but I think my duty was over to him. I did what I could with what I had, the possibilities. One thing I knew, I didn't want to go back to hospital. That's all I knew. Hospital, I'm not going back. Mm-hmm. Whatever will be the consequence. So a friend of mine, they are a couple, told me, why don't you open a restaurant? I said, a restaurant?
Why do they even suggest that?
Because I was a good cook.
Oh, they had enjoyed your food.
Yes. They said, why don't you do that? You are good in it. You are good in cooking. You are good in talking to people. Mm-hmm. Do it. A restaurant. How do we open a restaurant? I don't know anything. He said, I will help you. Mm-hmm. So we find a very tiny place, like the one I have now, even smaller. And I thought that restaurant, I was so naive and probably stupid, that you cook every day what you feel like, but one dish.
One dish each day.
One dish, one day fish, one day meat. When people come, I say, I have this. I realized after a month, that's not a restaurateur, and that is not a restaurant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the game is over. I mean, I cannot continue. I was very worried about the face of the customer when they came. That they said, what did you cook today? But we were here last week. We had the same thing.
Okay.
So, because I was supposed to close on Shabbat, that restaurant, we went to a nice dinner.
At someplace else, yeah.
In a hotel. Mm-hmm. And I ordered shrimp cocktail. And I got...
As you can tell, Katy is not a very observant Jew. Shrimp are not kosher food, but Judaism, it's levels of observance. Some people observe all the rules. Some people observe none of the rules. We call those Reform Jews, by the way. And then there are conservative Jews who conform to many of the rules.
And mainly because I was living with a Dane 7 years,
Right.
and we ate a lot of fish and a lot of... So anyhow, I asked who did this.
Wait a minute. So you went to this restaurant, ordered a shrimp cocktail.
I ate the shrimp cocktail.
And how was it?
It was the best thing you can imagine, Dr. Bob. So I wanted to know and thank the person who did that dish. So I said, who did this? I want to thank him. It was really good. I couldn't do it in my restaurant because I had to be kosher anyway.
At that time, yep.
So came a 16-year-old boy, very shy. He said, I did it. I said, you couldn't do this. But he worked with the best chefs since he was 13. French chefs. That hotel, at that time, you hired French chefs. So he was, a piccolo. He was
He was a trainee.
Trainee. I said, how much do you make here? He said, $100 a month. I said, I give you 300. Come tomorrow. No, I said, I give you 300. He said, I come tomorrow.
He said that.
He said, I come
I'll
tomorrow.
be there.
8 o'clock he was there.
Wow. What's his name?
Umran.
Uman.
I said, do you know how to make steak? How to make an appetizer? Maybe you have an idea of an appetizer, maybe. And he built me a menu like a great chef. He took the menu of the hotel, brought it with him, and he said, just print this menu. I will do everything you have in the menu. I couldn't believe it my eyes.
Or your taste buds.
Immediately I became successful. The King David started to come to my restaurant, send me customers, all the high society, just name it, from Bronfman, the whiskey, to so and so and so.
To the mayor of Jerusalem.
The mayor of Jerusalem.
Right.
The mayor of Jerusalem, when he found out that I was existing, and the people told him, when he met the people, they told him from the King David, the guests told him, Teddy, we have been in a restaurant last night. The lady there, she's so funny. She's different. You should go. You should bring your guest there. You're not kosher, Teddy. He was not kosher. So I started in the kingdom of the blind. I was the king.
No kidding. And so Uman joined your restaurant. And by the way,
He's
he is
still
there today. Okay. Uman, an Arab who was a kid, 15 years old when she met him, is still the chef at that restaurant till today. Okay, so he solved the food problem.
So he solved the food problem.
But then, as I understand it, businessmen come
So
in,
people
they want
came in,
they
like
want a
Dr.
cocktail.
Bob.
They want a cocktail.
Dr. Bob won a cocktail.
Of course.
Give me a gin and whatever. What is he talking about? What am I going to do now? Now we solved the food. Now we have to deal with the drinks. Because people from the King David, at that time, you should know it was only King David.
That was
those
the only,
other hotels
that was the only
didn't
high-end
exist.
hotel. Right.
So people come from the King David, they want a drink. And each one give me a name.
The name of an alcoholic
Their
beverage.
alcohol they are used to.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything.
Well, you were 29, 30 years
As
old.
I said, please, sir, don't worry. Here, I have a policy. The customer make their drinks. And by the way, you can either cheat me or make a double drink.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want. When
So
you
wait a minute.
finish,
So you didn't have any bar at all when you first started. There was no bar.
I had few bottles.
A few bottles of the cognac
Of
or
this,
something.
of that. No,
Right.
I had some.
Okay.
I bought some, but I didn't know how to use it.
Right. Didn't know how to mix things.
How
of
to
course.
mix it.
Yes, yes. So you said when anybody wanted something, you said, here's the bottle, pour as
No,
much
here
as...
is the bar.
Here's
no,
the
here's
bar.
bottle.
Go to the
you
bar.
Go into the bar.
Go into the bar and
Tell
be
me
there.
what you need, and I get you. And when you finish to drink,
Yeah.
you give me how many drinks you
Yeah,
had.
you tell me. Right.
So this is, and how we did it, how many drinks.
Right.
Another way. You know the sticker
You stir. Yeah.
you put it in your jacket.
Ah. I
And
see.
how many you have put, that is the amount you have been drinking.
Yeah, that's good. Good way. Yeah.
And it become fashionable. One tell the other, go to Katy's. And they
Well, frankly, I would prefer that too, because how does a bartender know what proportion of tonic I want in my gin?
they have a measurement.
Oh, yeah.
Which is terrible.
Terrible. Okay, that's not the way I drink. Now, just to let you know, I'm a gin and tonic guy. Now, the rules on gin and tonic, the bartender's guide, is 1 part gin, 3 parts tonic. That doesn't get you the buzz nearly fast enough. You'll have to have 3 of those. So I just invert that. It's 3 part gin, 1 part tonic. And that's how my gin and tonics are. So what Katy provided with to her customers is the flexibility. You make the drink any way you want.
Anyway, you want, just tell me what you need. And each one make me a list when he comes. They become steady customers. So they bring me a list.
And you make sure you have that liquor on board.
On board. Or they call me from the hotel. They said, Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. Hassenfeld is coming. Sylvia Hassenfeld. Make sure you have this, and this.
Right.
Because she's bringing some guests.
I remember the last time I was there a couple of years ago, you made sure that they had Bombay Sapphire gin.
Of course,
for
Dr. Bob.
That's Dr. Bob's.
And Dr. Bob. And this is the way it was run, that restaurant, till today.
Right. About 50 years.
I never sell drinks by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I tell the customer, only the wine. The wine I do it myself. You want, they started to put like this. I said, sir, doesn't work like this here, sir. You go, you make your own drink. We bring you everything, and you do your own drink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because people are particular. You're right. Right. They want a certain
And now
way.
there is a new drink, Aperol.
Oh, I've heard of Aperol. I don't know what it is. No idea.
Stupid thing.
No idea.
Do you have Aperol? Do you have Aperol? Mostly Americans.
Yeah.
I said, Madame, I don't have Aperol. What is Aperol? Tell me what, I get it for you.
Yeah.
So she said, I went, got a bottle of Aperol.
No, this is unbelievable. She actually sends, either she or Uman, go out to a store nearby and buy whatever you want right then in real time. It's like Amazon. Whatever you want to eat, she'll get the ingredients right then and make it for you.
This is how I run my business till today.
It's great. Great story. Okay, so over the years, Katy, you've told me many interesting and humorous stories about you and what's happened in the restaurant. Let's start with the story. Again, it's in this case with Teddy Kollek, the then mayor of Jerusalem. But first, I have to give my viewers some details about this, some background. Okay, in Judaism, there is a holy day. And I use that term, always. I don't like the term holiday. A holiday is a day off. Barbecue, go to the game, whatever. That's a holiday. But there's also holy days. Now, holy day became holiday, but to me, they're different meanings, okay? Veterans Day is a holiday. You're celebrating the veterans, but it's not holy. So, just to make this quick, in Judaism, there is a holy day called Tisha B'Av, which means in Hebrew, the 3rd day of the month of Av. It's the 9th day, Tisha B'Av, the 9th day. It's recognized in Judaism as the saddest day on the Jewish calendar, on the whole year. It's a day when Jews mourn all of the many tragedies that befell the Jewish people over their 3,000-year history. Now, it's especially a holy day and observed for Jews in Jerusalem because one of the biggest tragedies was the destruction and the loss of both the first and second temples in Jerusalem about 2,000 years ago. So on Tisha B'Av in Jerusalem, most shops and restaurants are closed in observance of this day. But Katy, who's not terribly an observant Jew to start with, wasn't aware of the importance of Tisha B'Av, so she remained open. And she took a call that afternoon from the concierge at King David Hotel, who wanted to make dinner reservations for some very important guests. The mayor of Jerusalem at that time, who Katy had met numerous times before, and his guests, Princess Margaret, the sister of Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of England, and Princess Margaret's husband, Anthony Armstrong Jones. All right, with that background, I'm going to let Katy tell the story. You took that call.
As you know, everything is closed in Jerusalem. I was supposed to be closed. Not that I opened, I was supposed to be closed.
Supposed to be, almost the law.
It's a law.
It is a law.
The law is made on my name today. The law of closing Tisha B'Av is called Katy Law.
Kathy's
in
law.
The Knesset.
Katy's law.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a law. Okay.
So people should remember it. So what happened was, I came from Tel Aviv, and the girl worked for me at that day. She said, "You know what happened?" I said, "No." She said, "Teddy called, and he wants a table, 6 people tonight." Mm-hmm. I said, "Look, you probably made a mistake.
Yeah.
But what we shall do is to wait until 8 o'clock. If he doesn't appear, this is Teddy. He just got mixed up. Mm-hmm. But if he's here,
we'll feed him."
I opened. Then arrived Teddy colleague. And I couldn't say next to the princess, "This is tonight, Tisha B'Av, Teddy, not Teddy." It's not of my business anyway.
Right.
So people sat and had drinks, and he with his cigar. And after
and at that time, you could smoke cigars.
You could smoke cigar. He always had a cigar.
Yeah.
Came two young gentlemen and said,
about
"Can
halfway,
we have a drink?"
Yeah, while they were there, they came.
When they were there.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
"Can we have a drink?" Mm-hmm. I said, "Not really, but..." So I went to Teddy and said, "Teddy, can I get
Is it
those
okay
2 people? Is it okay for you?" He said, "Isn't it a free country?" Mm-hmm. He said to me. Mm-hmm. So I said, "Please sit." Mm-hmm. And Teddy was in a good mood. He had few drinks. The princess was in the best mood. And the two gentlemen there, the 2 boys, looked at me and said, "You know, ask Teddy if you could have a picture with him. It would be a nice picture." So I went to Teddy. I said, "Teddy, can we have a picture together?"
Wait a minute. They wanted a picture of you with Teddy.
With Teddy, mostly with Teddy.
Mostly with Teddy, yeah.
And the table.
And the table, I get it. Not with them.
No, of course not. They were journalists.
Okay.
I didn't know they were.
Okay. You didn't know at the time.
I thought they came there. I didn't know them.
Okay.
So when I was having the picture, they said to me, "Katy, get a little closer to Teddy." So I said, "No, I can't do that." So Teddy said, "Why not?" "Of course you can."
Mm-hmm. He hugged you. Yeah.
Poor Teddy colleague.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, the dinner was over. They paid. They left. The second day, I come to the restaurant, Dr. Bob. Mm-hmm. Maybe 2,000, maybe 3,000, maybe 10,000 of yeshiva boys.
These are religious Jews from other neighborhoods in Jerusalem.
All with the tzitzit, with the dressed for religiously, mm-hmm. and shouting, "Burn the restaurant.
Close that restaurant. Right.
Close it, burn it."
Why, now, what happened? How did they know? Why did they do that the next day?
It was all over the newspaper.
These guys were
the religious newspaper.
So they sold the photograph, or they were working for a newspaper, and they were following Teddy Kollek intentionally. All right, like in today's political environment, and they took pictures, and they wrote an article, or somebody wrote an article. Teddy Kollek's, at a restaurant during Tisha B'Av.
On Tisha B'Av, all the newspapers.
All the newspapers.
And the religious people were shouting until Ben Yehuda Street, which is like 3 kilometers from my restaurant. All black, I said, my God, they are going to kill me.
Okay.
So Teddy appeared in the television and said, please don't touch Katy. Don't do anything. If you want, you can burn me, you can throw me. But you know that if you send me home, you are a loser. Because I have so many of you in the municipality that you will be without job.
Yeah.
But don't touch Katy. So they became very... the story ended up in the end.
Yeah.
But they didn't forgive me.
Right.
And the end of that year, it was the end of my contract.
All right. So you had a lease on the rest on that space. Yeah.
So the end of that year, they did not...
And the lease, just to give you background, the lease was held by some religious organization for some reason. They owned that property. And because of this, which is an affront to religious Jews to be open, they wouldn't renew her lease. So tell us, how did this become a law now?
How did I?
How did it become a law that you have to be closed?
After that, it was in the Knesset a law.
Yeah, in the Israeli
parliament. Because the
parliament.
religious insisted. Not that they wanted to have a law in the Knesset.
Yeah.
But the religious insisted.
Yes.
That it should be a law, that Katy's law, that opened on Tisha B'Av.
Yeah. So
they get such a penalty if somebody...
Okay, I see. So every restaurant in all of Israel now, it's a law they cannot be open on Tisha B'Av.
It is a law now. It's not
law.
If you are polite or kind or religious or not religious or you eat
it's a law.
Shrimp cocktail or you don't eat shrimp cocktail. It's not of their business.
Yeah.
It's a law.
It's a law. You can't be open.
So I made a law.
Yeah. Congratulations. Okay. That's a great story, right? Am I right? Okay. That's one of the many stories that Katy told me. We can go on. She's been in business 50 years. There's at least one story a year. So about 15 years ago, Katy got another call from the concierge. Now, I don't want you to think that she only gets business from the King David, but in the old days, back then, there weren't that many hotels in Israel. There are many.
Clientele, excuse me to interrupt you.
Sure.
But the clientele which suit my restaurant came from the King David.
Right. Yeah, we're talking about people who can afford a rather expensive, elegant French meal. And those are people at the King David, maybe at the David Citadel, or now, there's another fine restaurant and fine hotel in Israel. Which is it?
Where?
In Israel, in Jerusalem, the other restaurant, the other hotel, the brand new one.
You have at the King David now, you have a restaurant.
What are the other hotels in Israel? The new one.
David Citadel.
No, yes.
Waldorf Astoria.
The Waldorf Astoria. But they probably wouldn't recommend Katy's because Katy's restaurant is not a kosher restaurant. Now, they don't serve shellfish, despite the fact that Katy hired the chef because of a shrimp cocktail. They don't serve shellfish or pork. It's kosher style, but it's not kosher. So it's unlikely that the Waldorf Astoria would recommend you, right? They're not going to recommend people go.
They don't recommend me.
Right. There
are too many religious there.
Not right. So she got another call from the concierge at the King David, and it was about a party of 9 people.
They called me. They said, we have a party of 9 people on the name of Mr. Murphy.
Yes, Mr. Murphy.
And those days, Dr. Bob, I was so busy cooking, so busy.
Yeah, you're not paying attention to the media. You don't know.
I write the reservation.
Mr. Murphy, fine.
In the morning, the security came, a big security.
Security
to check
people.
The restaurant.
Bodyguards come.
For Mr. Murphy.
Yes, they told you.
Yes.
We're here to check their safety.
Yes, Mr. Murphy is coming. We have to check how many entrants do you have, how many this. So for me, why do you check a restaurant unless you are a senator or a prime minister?
Right, somebody very important.
I never thought of something else.
Right, of course. So let's call him Senator Murphy.
7 o'clock in the evening, nobody show up.
7. Nobody's there. It's supposed to be for 9
The 9
people.
people, not
at
one.
7.
I got so upset.
Yeah.
And more the time was passing, it's half of my restaurant.
Understood. There are
So
only,
more the time-
there are 20 tables at most in Katy's restaurant. And if she reserves them, then that means income she's not going to get.
And I was getting very mad because I prepared for them,
Yes.
So at 9 o'clock,
9.
9,
2
exactly
hours
9.
later. Yep.
You excuse me if I say a black fellow, but
No.
he was a black
guy.
fellow.
Black guy.
Black guy.
How's he dressed?
Opened the door, broke the door, the window,
He pushed it so hard.
pushed the door so high that the vitrage got broken till today.
Yeah. Okay, till today.
The vitrage is broken.
What's the vitage? That's the...
He said, you have a reservation for Mr. Murphy. But I was so mad when I saw.
This guy.
I said, you must be the driver.
Yeah.
He looked at me. Well, if you say I'm the driver, I'm the driver.
Yeah.
So I said, are you 9? He said, no, we are only 7.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you are supposed to be 9.
Mm.
He said, so I said, Mr. Murphy couldn't make it. Now, he made it that way.
Yeah, Mr. Murphy can't make it. Go ahead.
He made it that way for me.
Yeah.
That I answered these questions without feeling. I mean, he helped me to this situation.
Yes. Mr. Murphy can't make
where
it.
I was.
Yes. You were upset because you reserved 9 and now it's 7.
I said, do you know that Mr. Murphy is very rude, your boss? Because I asked him, who are you? What are you doing for him? He said, I'm the driver, as you said.
Yeah.
I said, what kind of Mr. Murphy is? This is not supposed to be. He ordered a table
For 9.
at 7.
For 7
he
o'clock.
don't show up.
Till 9 o'clock.
At 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And he don't come.
Yeah. Yeah. What kind of guy?
What kind of person he is?
Yeah.
He said, what do you think he is? I said, I'm sure he's a senator, no? He said, yes. So this is the behavior of senators. This is how the senator behave. He said, what do you think? He's white or black? I said, of course he's white. A senator can't be black. Such an idiot I was.
Yeah, well, back then, probably true.
I said, why do you work for, how long do you work for him?
Yeah.
He said, 5 years. 5 years work with this man? I wouldn't stay one day. Okay, the food starts. He said, can I have a steak and chips? I said, sir, sorry to insult you. I don't serve chips and steak.
Yeah.
I have a la carte dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, you give me what you want.
And you have steak. You just don't have
Yeah, but not
chips.
steak and chips.
No,
you know.
it's a French restaurant.
So we start to talk. He said, who are you? I said, I'm the owner of this little restaurant. And you know, I'm really upset because he destroyed my evening.
Because he was late?
He could just cancel.
Yeah. That's okay.
That is okay. And you know, by the way, I learned, I was a friend to a baron, I say to him, only when you are dead, you can't make it. Because you can call.
You can't call, right?
I could sell the table
Yeah.
from 7 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
I was really, he could see I was very mad.
Well,
He said, don't worry. But you know those white people, how they are. They are not educated. They think they know everything. They think they can use... You know what he do to me? Do you know what he do to me? He started... What does he do to you?
What the senator does to him.
So I look at him, what does he do to you? He doesn't pay you? He said, no, worse than that. He make me drive all over America.
Yeah.
Not even offering me a coffee. Not even telling me, have a lunch. And he started to be... And I started to be more with him.
Yeah.
And we end up to be, both of us, upset
About senator.
about the senator, Mr. Murphy.
Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah.
And I said, you know, by the way, No, he said, I wish I had a job. You had a job for me. I said, look, you are very good looking, by the way. You could stay with me and be a waiter. Do you want a job? I give you a job. Don't stay with him. I said, really? I said, look, you can stay here 6 months or 3 months.
Try it out.
Meet a nice girl here. Have a wonderful time and work for me. So if like this, I can quit. I said, no, don't quit. Wait. We are discussing.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes on and on and on. Then the bill comes. Said, please, would you please charge me twice 9 people? Put 25% tip. I said, no, don't do that. He will throw you out. Don't do that. He's rude. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
I complained because he was not polite. Mm-hmm. But you shouldn't pay for him.
Shouldn't cheat him, yeah.
Yeah, that's not the way.
Yeah.
I said, no, don't worry about it. The fucking bastard didn't know how to behave. The fucking bastard should pay for it.
Wow. That senator.
That senator.
Bitch.
And he pays me. I mean, I charge him. Then he take $500 and he said, this is for you. I want you to buy something for you. I said, don't do that. I'm the owner. I don't need it, please. I don't want you. Maybe I can't offer you the job. Mm-hmm. I just said that for fun. Mm-hmm. Now I got scared of myself, of my offer.
Now he's going to accept it. Who knows?
Now he's coming to work for me. I don't need...
Right. We may not have business to afford him. Yeah.
I can't afford him. Then he give me a hug and leave. The table on the other side looked at me and said, do you know who was here? Did you realize who is this? Now I was like a duck. I said, of course I know. He's the driver of Mr. Murphy, the senator. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He said, this is Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, the actor.
The actor. I didn't know who was Eddie Murphy.
He's a good actor. Good actor.
And then I saw a movie after that.
Yeah. So he didn't show up to be a waiter?
Never show up, that's it.
Yeah, you can't trust these actors. You cannot.
He just was kind.
Wow.
He didn't want to say, I am Eddie Murphy in the end. Nothing. He was such a nice fellow.
What a nice guy. But a bad senator.
But anecdote like that, you have hundreds when you are in this kind of business for so many years.
You've met a lot of them. And the last story for today took place about 10 years ago when Katy met a guardian angel. Tell us that story, Katy.
My cook had, how do you call when it is stopped?
A blockage in his coronary arteries.
Yes. So he had...
Almost a heart attack.
Almost a heart attack. He had to go. He was in the hospital. And they announced me that in the morning.
They told you,
His family.
That he can't come to work.
And I got a reservation for 12 people. And they were on their way.
Now, you have to understand that this is really a small, family-owned, personally-owned restaurant. 2 people run this restaurant, all right? Katy and Uman. That's how you show up there. That's what it is. There may be a piano player that evening, but generally speaking, it's Katy and Uman.
That's right. You have a good memory, Dr. Bob, and you are a good friend.
I have good memories also.
So I didn't know what to do. They are on the way. I can cancel. What can I do now? What can I do? The tables, which are supposed to be outside, are inside. It's dark like hell. I am alone. And there are 20 minutes.
Coming.
12 people. So as you know me, I'm very sensitive and very emotional, so I start to cry. First of all, I don't know if it is relaxing me or I cry because I'm nervous. I open the window and I'm crying. And I say, God, please help me. Help me. Don't let me down. Maybe it was the first time I really said that in loud, do something. And I see a nice fellow.
This is while you're taking tables out of the
I was trying to take the tables outside. They were heavy.
Right.
So a gentleman walk with a blue shirt and jeans, very good looking. Must be on his 40. Madam, can I help you? Don't do that alone. I said, you can help me? How can you help me? You know what is happening to me? Mm-hmm. So I was so depressed that I said, please tell me, how can I help you? I said, I don't know if you can help me, but my cook is in the hospital. I am alone. I have 12 people coming. Mm-hmm. I don't know from what to start. To make the table, I have to get the tables up. So don't lose time. Tell me what to do. I help you. Are you sure? I said, yes. So first of all, let's put the tables outside. Ta-da-da. What else you have to do? I said, I have to fix table for 12. So I do it. That I can do quickly. Get into the kitchen. I thought, my God, it looks like he worked here all the time, this fellow. I said, do you know something about restaurant? Have you been a waiter in your life? He said, yes, I worked when I was a student as a waiter, as a cook. Don't worry about it. Try to concentrate on the 12 people. Mm-hmm. And don't show any nervosity. Mm-hmm. Calm down. It will be okay. Tell me what to do. Tell me where is the bar, where is the wine, what do I get, So he gives them the menu. When he gives the menu, I heat the bread and put the water on a table, on a side table. And because he was so good looking, people accepted him. He was nice with a napkin. He put like this.
A total stranger. Total stranger.
10 minutes before I met him.
Yeah.
Then I get into the kitchen. When I take the order, he brings them the drink, and it looked like we were two outside.
And there's somebody inside. Yeah, cook inside.
Cook is inside. Yeah, no one is inside. It's me. So I tell him, he said, try to sell most
simple things to make.
More or less the same.
Yeah.
Try to play with the food. So I said, yes. So, today we have the best, I don't know if you know about our restaurant, but we have the best beef in town. I really highly recommend you lamb chops and beef. Mm-hmm. You should have it. You should all have it. It's the
specialty.
Best dish.
It's your specialty.
So he do to me like this.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, you know what? You take the order. You do what you want. So I get into the kitchen. I said, okay, I have 6 fillet, 6 lamb chops. Let's make this, let's make that. Shh, get out. How many fillet? 6? 6 lamb chops? Put them here. I cook them for you. I say, you don't know. They want medium meat. Don't worry. When I am preparing the fillet, I go out for the drinks. You make the sauces. And we end up with such a nice atmosphere, excellent food, 12 people very happy. After that, he said, what else you have to do? I said, well, I have to take all the laundry and put it somewhere, fix the table, vacuum clean. So I do all this.
He offered to do that. Just a guy walking up the street.
I got $200 tip from that table. Mm-hmm. So I came to him. I said, please. When he finished to work, he said, do you need me anymore? I said, no. But please, if you don't accept me to give you some money, accept the tip. Mm-hmm. I said, look, I am a surgeon in one of the best hospitals in America. Mm. Do you think I need a tip? You need the tip. Mm. You are a wonderful lady. Wow. You need more than that. I give you a hug. You know what? Go and get me a coffee. I was crying. I came back with the coffee. The fellow disappeared. I never saw him again. I never met him again. I rushed in the street like a crazy person to look all over for him. Maybe I could get him. Maybe I could... Disappeared. But the most funny thing is, the second night, it was Shabbat, Friday night.
Yeah.
The 12 people came back. The cook was there. I said, I didn't expect you to come back. I didn't expect you. I was kissing them. I said, you know, you did my evening. You mean the food was okay? The food was good? He said, it was more than good. The waiter was excellent. And you were excellent.
And the chef.
And the chef, we want to meet the chef. So I take Umran. I said, please, Umran, here is the chef. But I couldn't lie to them. When they finished, I said, let me buy you a drink. Champagne, whatever you want. But let me tell you a story. I lied to you. It was no chef, no waiter. I was alone. I was lost. An angel came. An angel left me when he finished his work. That was the story.
What a fantastic story. Katy, thank you for spending time with me today and for sharing.
Thank you for inviting me. I want to thank you for all what you do for me, Dr. Bob. You do so much, and I have this occasion to say it. What you do for me, no one did in my life. Thank you.
Well, you were dealt a very difficult
I love you so
hand.
much.
You were dealt a very difficult hand, Katy, and it's my obligation, my pleasure to
thank you.
To help people like you.
I hope it was a good...
who have worked so hard, who've never asked for help, okay? You rely on yourself, on your intelligence, on your hard work, despite the difficulties in your life, the medical difficulties, the financial difficulties, and it's my honor to help people like you, and I'm happy I can do it.
And you do it so discreetly, so... I don't know. There is no people like you, Dr. Bob. There is no people like you. They disappeared. Maybe the doctor is like you, in his own way.
Hopefully he will watch this episode, and maybe he'll get in touch with me, so I'll put you in touch with him again. That'd be great.
I wish I knew his name.
Yeah, nothing. He just said he sent you into the kitchen for a coffee because he had done his job and he didn't want any more thanks. He just floated away, knowing that he helped someone.
You are an example, and he is an example.
To all of my viewers, if, what are you going to do with your money? Right? That's what it comes down to in life. You've made money. If you haven't, different story. But if you've made money, my experience is you should not give an unusual amount of money to your children. And on a future podcast, maybe I'll go into that. It's not a good thing to do. Help people. Help deserving people. Help organizations, if you know good philanthropic organizations, and they're not all good, okay? Yes, you're going to get a great tax deduction, whichever 501c3 you may donate to, but you got to look carefully at organizations and see that they're doing what you want them to do. Most of them are not. Do you think Henry Ford or Lawrence Rockefeller or J.D. Rockefeller's money is being spent the way they wanted it to be spent? Probably not. Or Carnegie? They'd roll over in their grave if they saw what those philanthropies are now supporting. So my advice to my readers is, if you can, help people in need. Help people who you know. Of course, you got to take care of your family, your children, your wife, your spouse. You meet somebody nice, do something nice. You'll feel better for it. All right? You'll feel better for it. You can do it on an individual level. You got to be very discreet, very careful, because there are too many people in the world who need help. We can't help them all. So use your heart, but use your brain to choose people who are special, like Katy Ohana, who have fortitude, who have intellect, who have ethics. Never ask for help. Never ask for help. Those are the people that I help. I seek out people in need, but not those who necessarily ask for help. Professors who are fired because they're speaking freely in the classroom. I help them. All right? Politicians who stand for what's right and for justice. I help them if I can. So I'll tell you, it's a good feeling to do it when you're alive. Leaving money in your will, you're not going to feel good about it. Do good things when you're alive. That's it for tonight. I want to thank you all for watching. And if you've enjoyed this story, the story about Katy and Katy's restaurant, then you can go to her restaurant website. Now, I was surprised that she has a website, to be honest with you. Right before this podcast, and I do a little work before I do the podcast, of course, and I found that there is a website that she had a friend put it up. It's called katysrestaurant.com, and it's KATYS-restaurant.com. Or better yet, the next time that you're in Jerusalem, go to Katy's. It's at 2 Hasoreg Street. Just ask anybody where Katy's is once you're in Jerusalem, and she'll recount with you more fascinating stories over cocktails and a superb dinner. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this episode of Life Lessons with Dr. Bob, please subscribe and you'll be automatically notified of future podcasts in this series.
Thanks so much for listening to another episode of Life Lessons with Dr. Bob. If you enjoyed these interviews with some of today's most influential thought leaders, please follow and rate the show on your favorite podcast platform. And don't forget, you can also watch each episode on YouTube as well. We'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate reading your comments on YouTube and social media, and now you can submit your questions on my website as well. Head over to lifelessonswithdrbob.com and click the question tab at the top of the page or the one on the right side of the screen, and let us know what's on your mind. I'll answer your questions at the beginning of each episode, so let it rip. Let's have some fun.